ang ating kapulisan ay hindi nag-iimbestiga. So I surmise, Mr. Chair, that the police actually were not properly investigating because of the policy of the administration, because of the policy of the former president. Na kung yan, nalaban ng kaunti yan, patayin nyo na at I have your back. Ako ang magpuprotekta sa inyo. And I would even think, I do not know, Major General, you could be able to tell me if I'm right or wrong, no? Okay lang sa akin. Pero palagay ko, there really was a big irregularity as far as investigating this is concerned. Oh, just imagine, we have more than 7,000 na napatay, but only 52 are being investigated. And 37 of them, wala na because hindi na umano yung biktima. Now the thing is this, I don't think that it is the NBI that should be first in the scene. It must be the policeman that should be in the scene of the crime. Am I right, Major General?
You are correct, Your Honor. It's supposed to be the PNP, especially the SOCO, that will process the crime scene, especially in the event of armed confrontation, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, why do you always have to give that to IAS? Why don't the SOCO be the one to investigate on it? Motu proprio.
It is within their mandate, Your Honor. The IAS has the motto proprio.
No, it's not the mandate of the IAS is to investigate an administrative case. Of course, kasama yung criminal dun eh. Pero still, the IAS should be independent from the Philippine National Police. Therefore, the Philippine National Police must also conduct their own investigation on the matter. Am I right, Major General?
That's correct, Your Honor. As I mentioned, it is being part of the SOCO operations. And as I mentioned, once an irregularity has been found based on the processing, corresponding actions is also being recommended, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair? Yes, are you done, Congressman Abante? So, Congressman Agop, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. General Salvador, may I know the basis why IAS should be the one to investigate incidents involving police officers where firearms are used?
It's not, as I mentioned, Your Honor, it's also their mandate independently, but as I mentioned also that
Could you please state to this body, ano po yung mandate na sinasabi po ninyo?
it's the motto proprio investigation, especially if the case involves the use of firearms. And
Is that provided for by any law?
it is within the disciplinary machinery or 6975.
Administrative cases, I will agree with you. Diba? Kasi,
Opo, nasa batas po, Your Honor.
I do not know. That's why I'm asking because during our time, the agency that investigates these events or these incidents would be the CIDG. Why? Because when these incidents happen, there are two aspects. Dalawang kaso eh, administrative at saka criminal. Now, is the IAS equipped to conduct criminal investigation?
It is,
Please answer my question first. Is the IAS equipped or does it have the capacity to conduct criminal investigation?
I believe so, Your Honor. On the basis of the findings of every...
The IAS is basically an agency which investigates the administrative aspect of this issue.
Siming ikaw doon, Sim.
Would you agree with that?
Yes, Your Honor, but
Yes.
as I have mentioned,
Kaya nga
we can always recommend.
sinasabi kanina ni Mr. Sarmenta na grave neglect of duty na yung one. That is administrative offense. Pero ano yung criminal offense na final ninyo?
I have been consistent with my response, Your Honor, because
Hindi ko naman sinasabi na hindi ka consistent. Ang question ko, yung sagot mo, kasi, di ba't sabi ko, you give me the basis why IAS is supposed to conduct this kind of investigations. When in fact, I know na yung IAS, administrative aspect lang ng kaso, ang trabaho nila. The criminal aspect is with CIDG, which is capacitated to do the criminal investigation. Kasi, iba yung administrative investigation at saka criminal investigation. Doon pa lang sa evidence that is required, magkaiba na yung dalawa eh. So, how can you tell me that the IAS is capacitated to conduct criminal investigation? Well, you tell me, what is that mandate that you are telling me? So that I will be convinced.
it is they have the powers to file appropriate criminal cases against PNP members because before the court as evidence warrants and assist in the prosecution of the case. At tulad ng binabanggit namin, Your Honor, wala silang pinagkaiba sa investigator on case na kung may mga ebidensya on the basis of findings of the SOCO.
Doon po dun sa kaso na sinasabi ni Mr. Sarmienta, ano po yung criminal case na na-file?
Well, we will have to check on the record, Your Honor, for
Yan na yung sinasabi ko eh.
I believe that they are telling us as to the specific case.
Meron po bang criminal case, Mr. Sarmienta, na final? There was a case in the Ombudsman po. The IAS case po is NES NMPPCI 180054, which is basically a series of grave neglect of duty on Colonel Lito Patay, the QCPD administrative. And then on the policeman involved, grave neglect of duty, grave misconduct, and conduct unbecoming. Those are all administrative cases, which is under the jurisdiction of the Ombudsman, both criminal and administrative. There was a separate filing at the Ombudsman po initiated by the CHR, OMBPC 180092. This is for murder. And it was dismissed by the Ombudsman. Yan yung criminal aspect. Yun na yung sinasabi ko eh. Ang nangyayari dyan sa Salvador, administrative aspect lang or administrative cases lang ang fina-file ng IAS. Why? Because it's their mandate.
But, Your Honor, they are also not prevented to file the criminal
I will agree
case.
with you.
Yes.
But supposing I will ask you to give to this committee or submit to this committee ano yung mga cases na involved sa extrajudicial killings na na-file ng criminal case by IAS to prove your point.
We will wait for the IAS to respond to that, Your Honor.
Yes. And that is why, Mr. Chair, may I move that we invite the Director of IAS in the next hearing para masettle tong issue nito.
Okay, there's a motion to invite the head of the IAS.
Second.
And duly seconded. Any objection? Unanimous and motion is now approved.
Mr. Chair, I also would like to inform the body, especially our, I like Attorney Conti, Mr. Gata, that this morning, the Committee on Appropriations already approved, no? The Committee on Human Rights was the first one who approved that. But today, already approved the CHR charter. Oo. Now, Mr. Chair, I think that there should not only be a review of these cases, there ought to be a reinvestigation of these cases, Mr. Chair. Would that be the kind of mandate the Philippine National Police also has? Because the thing is, yung mga investigation ginawa on the last administration were actually wala nangyari. So, I'd like to ask Major General Salvador, would you agree that all of those victims of the extrajudicial killings, more than 7,000 of them or more, should be reinvestigated further. Very general.
Yes, Your Honor, it's possible for investigation.
Therefore, Mr. Chair, if it's possible, then I would strongly suggest that these victims should be reinvestigated so that the proper charges in court should be filed. Mr. Chair. Very General, would you please answer?
Yes, Your Honor. It's a matter of the inventory of cases, and I believe it will be coinciding with the cases of the Internal Affairs Service.
Attorney Conti, may tanong lang ako, Mr. Chair, tanong lang ako, Attorney Conti, considering yung mga present situation before, during the time nung last administration, and kanina sinabi niya yung FBI Director that nahirapan silang enforce yung mga cases because of a lot of different factors. Like, well, yung mga evidences, medyo wala na 2 years or 3 years ago pa. And at the same time, yung consideration of the families, would you agree with me na one of the factors why the families are not cooperating during the time because of the policy of the government?
Yes, Your Honor. And the continuing security threats to themselves. Kasi yung police na nag-operate o pumatay, doon pa rin naka-assign. At probably sila rin ang mag-iimbestiga. So,
And that's the reason why kaya yung resulta natin sa pagpapile ng case, iba na dismiss dahil nga po sa takot ng pamilya because of the existing environment, no? Moving forward, no? Now that we have realized that in accordance with the suggestion of Congressman Chairman Abante na to reopen the investigation of all these cases, and having considered the manifestation of the FBI Director with regards to sa mga evidences, do you think we will be having a hard time to pursue all of this investigation? And if we will be having a hard time moving forward as a lawyer, ano po yung pwede natin gawin?
Your Honor, first off, it would take a big deal to recover or restore the trust of these people, of these victims in the investigation and justice system in the Philippines. Pasensya na po, pero parang nabasag lahat yun nung nakarang panahon. And lalo na, the killings continue. The HAS, the organization which monitors killings, have noted some 300 killings last year as well. And we think it could be related to continuing practice kung nakasanayan na po ng mga pulis. Kung wala mang policy na sasabihin or walang sinasabi, parang patuloy pa rin talaga yung kalakaran. Ang pwede po siguro, if this committee or this government wants to investigate everything, as a rule, continue with the investigation. If some of the victims would prefer not to be reinvestigated, then allow them that leeway. So as a rule, lahat po iimbestigahan ulit, ilalabas lahat ng ebidensya, and just allow the victims to opt out.
Paano lalabas yung ebidensya kung halimbawa wala na nga po yung ebidensya?
Sa totoo po, actually, ito yung tanungan namin kung yung biktima po yung tatanungin, wala po sa amin din yung ebidensya. Nasa PNP po. Kaya,
For example, I think, I just think about this, because of the environment of the last administration, those evidences na, well, I hope that they can really deliver all those weapons, na nakuha sa crime scene. But I really doubt kung meron talaga. But kung wala, moving forward, we cannot investigate anymore. So, Anong in-expect sa atin na dapat natin gawin kung wala na tayong makukuha ng ganong klaseng ebidensya, we cannot investigate anymore. And considering that we're talking about 7,000 as manifested by the PNP during the investigation sa Committee on Human Rights, inamin nila naman na almost 7,000 yung naging namatay sa drug war. So ngayon, or on drugs. So ngayon, ang tanong, kakunti na yung katulad ni Miss Marisa Hamoy. Out of the 7,000, ilan lamang po yung naging successful na napakulong po natin yung perpetrator? Ilan lamang po sa mga hawak ninyo? Si Atty. Conti and then si Mr. Joel Sarmiento.
Your Honor, we reviewed 200 cases. Only 6 we could file in court. Only 1 we secured a conviction for.
Isa lang naging successful.
Out of total 200.
And with Joel Sarmiento, so si Miss Hamoy lang.
Based on me, hindi po po. Filed and filed, but nothing happens. Diba? In fact,
So wala bang ano? I thought yung perpetrator na nakakulong na right now. Ay, hindi din po.
in
So
fact,
in other words, sa 7,000, isa lang ang nakulong. Isa lang?
Your Honor, from my count, there should be at least 8 police officers detained. 8 from 3 cases. Kian, Carl, and Bonifacio case. Convictions of police
So
officers.
halos lahat yung dismiss.
Yes, Your Honor.
So out of the 7,000, ilan yung na-dismiss?
If at all kung may na-file. Actually, at one count in 2018, Your Honor, we were talking among ourselves, yung mga lawyers po. A handful of cases lang ang na-file namin between NUPL, FLAG, ideals, some law groups, and even NBI and PAO. Binilang na po namin, ang bilang namin, 18 to 20 cases ang nakasampa na parang offensive, counter-offensive, kaso doon patungkol dun sa pagpatay. Yung iba pong kasong tinutukoy, kunyari, kaso na kinaso dun sa pinatay or nakasurvive.
Sige, Mr. Joel Sarmiento.
sorry, sir. Chair, and I'd like to note, yung Bonifacio case is only this 2024, mid-2024. That's very recent. There's also the phenomenon of the Bertes case where the guilty policeman is now incarcerated for a different shooting. And in fact, the RTC of Pasay still has to be really pushed to reopen that case and really start prosecuting him.
I hope you guys know na hindi tayo mawala ng pag-asa. No? The reason why I'm trying to tell this is because of the reality. Katulad na sinabi ni FBI Director na talagang pag wala na ebidensya, it's hard to investigate. And having said that, 2025 na po ngayon. And sinasabi po ni FBI Director, years back pa. And the more na magiging much more impossible to recover all those evidences. But mahirap naman pong bitawan na yung mga pamilya ng biktima. So we have to hang on and try to move forward and try to somehow yung investigation, the best effort that we can do. Siguro, Mr. Chairman, medyo nasadin ako ngayon. Hindi na sana ako magtatanong. Pero parang naisip ko, out of the 7,000, ilan pa talagang naging successful? So ngayon, parang lumalabas na isa o dalawa lamang. Talagang nakakalungkot na yan. Talagang medyo this government, the present government, must do something to give justice to those families sa biktima. Yun naman po, Mr. Chairman, at halinawa ay magkaroon talaga ng resolve ang ating pong national government, no? Mr. DOJ and the Office of the President.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. I give way to Congressman Paduano, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Congressman Paduano, you're recognized. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Salamat po. At least nakinig naman. Medyo nakinig din na pinagbigyan tayo ng pagkakataon magsalita. Just before you recognize Chairman, General Salvador, Mr. Chairman, ganito na po, I heard about this statement coming from Mr. Sarmiento. Sir, you mentioned about the representation of our country through the former DOJ Secretary on the International Human Rights Conference during that time.
UN represented by Human Rights.
UN
Human Rights Geneva.
in Geneva, which was represented by the then DOJ Secretary Ibarra, di ba? Medyo makalimutin na kasi itong si Chairman Abante siguro. But as far as I remember, in the first hearing of NJK, in his committee on Human Rights, it was mentioned by then DOJ Secretary Ibarra about the conference, and he mentioned also that upon arrival during the time, he submitted a confidential report with regards to it to the office of the President through ES, Executive Secretary. Now, as far as I remember during the time when I asked him about the document, confidential document, I directly asked him if the committee or the Congress can ask the Executive Department to give us a copy of that confidential. Now, sabi niya, of course, the Office of the President to the ES will invoke executive privilege, etc. But sabi ko nga sa kanya, what if? Kasi that report and those incidents in that report happens in the previous administration, and if the Office of the President through the ES will waive its right with regards to executive privilege, pwede po. Sabi niya, pwede. Kaya, Mr. Chairman, pwedeng balikan natin yung QUADCOM. We once again, well, in fact, I moved for it during that hearing that to the chair that we will write a letter to the Office of the President, to the ES, for us to give us the copy about that confidential report. Kasi mahalaga po yun. That's number one, Mr. Chairman. Kaya kailangan siguro natin pag-usapan ulit para makakuha tayo ng comprehensive confidential report with regards to NJK that was also delivered by some portion of it was delivered also by then DOJ Secretary Ibarra dun sa UN, United Nations Human Rights Conference at Geneva. Now, second, Mr. Chairman, the case that was mentioned by the civil society groups, the Rise Up, well, in fact, it was also confirmed by the PNP that there are around 6,000 to 7,000 cases of nanlaban. And most of that of it, as confirmed by Director Labin, the NBI, karamihan po, wala. Now, ngayon, sabi nga kanina ni Chairman Abante, what can the PNP do about it? The NBI can do about it. I think, Mr. Chairman, they're not Superman. Hindi po sila Superman. Kasi 6,000 cases, di kaya po yun. To review, to investigate, to review. Yes, sabi natin 7,000. Kahit sabi ko nga kanina kay Chairman Barbers, kahit 2,000 o 3,000 na lang. Abutin lang po to be honest and candid about it. Abutin lang po ng legislature at patapos sa legislature na ito matatapos. Sa totoo lang po. Because we also don't want, PNP is involved in this. Nanlaban. Then you give the PNP the responsibility to review it. Wala. Sigurado yun. Diba? At the same time, we will also do not want the organization of the PNP will focus on this. Marami pa po silang trabaho. Now, ganun din po NBI. Pag binigay mo ito yung 7,000 sa NBI, wala. Especially the statement coming from Atty. Labin na out of the 52, 13 only because some relatives of the victims are not anymore interested. They are not cooperating. Walang evidence, etc. Wala mangyari. Kahit anong motion natin dito, every hearing move natin, wala mangyari dito. Now, kasi kaya nag-usap kami kanina ni Chairman Marbers, if the committee or my co-chairs and of course the lead Chairman Barbers will join me, siguro dun sa committee report or partial committee report na ilalabas natin, we will ask the executive department to create na super body or a commission now to concentrate and investigate para yung mga agencies natin hindi magka-problema sa trabaho nila. Siguro may representative kami from the PNP doon sa commission na yun, pero dapat ito this will result for a very fair, honest, and truthful result. Doon po sa sinasabi nating mga 7,000 cases of nanlaban. Para at least maging yung question of result, no? Possible result of this, ano kaysa bawat hearing natin. Questionin natin yung police, questionin natin ang ganito, tapos mag-move tayo, invite si ganito, wala rin. Diba? I suggest, Mr. Chairman, and to the members of this committee that siguro, pwede kang gumawa ng partial committee report with regards to AJK once again, and we will recommend to create such super body, whatever you call it, commission or whatever, no, to concentrate in these cases, no, for review and reinvestigation of all these cases. Yun po. Dalawa po. Again, once again, question of the confidential report that was submitted by then DOJ Secretary Ibarra to the Office of the President, if he can get that copy of that, and a part of the partial committee report for the AJK to recommend to the Executive Department to create such body that I mentioned, whatever it is. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I would believe that in this administration, we have a different Philippine National Police. Am I right, Major General Salvador?
Yes, Your Honor.
And therefore, if we have a different Philippine National Police, I'd like to really strongly suggest that another mode of investigation should be conducted, no? And reopened with about 7,640 that died in police operations during the time of the former administration. Tulad po ng sinabi ni Congressman Dan Bernardes kanina, huwag kayo mawala ng pag-asa. Ano ha? Tony Conti, Mrs. Sarmenta, at Ma'am Fortune, lahat po kayo, na ipagpapatuloy po namin ito. In fact, election year po ngayon eh. Kaya napakahirap po sa amin, no? We are being attacked left and right, and we are in the middle of the campaign. Pero nakita po namin yung pangangailangan na dapat talaga po nating ituloy ito. I also would like to agree with Congressman Paduano that a super body should be formed and created, no? Para patuloy ang investigasyon ito kahit na po mag-end ang 19th Congress. Well, we would like also to recognize Reverend Noel. I believe that he also has something to say, so we would like to encourage him now for him to say his own statements of what AJK right now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bilang kinatawan ng mga nanay ng biktima ng EJK, we would like to suggest a truth commission to continue the investigation. Kasi we see the impunity will logically continue with the killings. This truth commission, we suggest, is to continue investigating in view of the prosecution of the mastermind and the perpetrators. We should be selective. And Another suggestion is, we suggest that there would be a compensation bill to compensate the victims. Nawalan po ng breadwinner ang mga nanay. Thousands of them. But until now, they are suffering injustice. Nobody helped them. The policemen who were killed, there were system of reward. Pero yung mga biktima, walang tulong. That's why we would like to request if there would be, if it is contemplated that there would be a compensation bill na bigyan ng scholarship yung mga anak ng victims or kabuhayan or dissenting bahay para matulungan sila. And then, finally, security. Hanggang ngayon may mga threats pa rin ng mga victims. Yun lang po.
Maraming salamat po, Reverend Noel. No? Maganda po yung sinabi ninyo. In fact, nung iniimbestigahan po itong sinimulan natin sa Committee on Human Rights, ay napag-usapan na po yung Truth Commission. Ngayon po ito inulit ni Congressman Paduano na magkaroon tayo ng super body to actually investigate on this. At ito ay iniisip na namin. At hayaan nyo, Reverend Noel, pag-uusapan po namin ito ng QUADCOM tungkol po sa Truth Commission sapagkat nais po nating ipagpatuloy itong investigasyon na ito sa EJK kahit na po matapos ang kongresong ito. Sapagkat June 30 po, bago ng kongreso, 20th Congress na. Oo. At nais ko sana, kahit na po bago ang may bago ng kongreso, na kami dalawa na lang po ni Congressman ako may iwan, may pagpapatuloy po namin itong QUADCOM na ito. Pero, between that, siguro po before we actually complete our investigation, that we now would like to really create a truth commission on this or a super body that would continue to investigate. Ano? So, do we have any other witness here or sole speaker that have not spoken yet, and we would like him to also speak and give us their view on the matter? Or do we have any more? Yes. So we have Congressman Adjong.
Yes, because you have been speaking for so long.
Yeah,
So, the chair will
I was acting as the chairman.
I had my
Because you
name
have
listed as one of
been
the...
speaking in the phone too long.
Mr. Chair, I had my name listed earlier as one of the interpellators, but I give way to Congresswoman Franz Castro, our incoming senator. By the way, Mr. Chair, hindi lang po si Chairman Benny Abante at saka si Chairman Manong Romy ang may iwan dito. May iwan tayong lahat dito. I give way to
Kung mananalo.
hopefully. So I give way first to Congresswoman Franz Castro.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congresswoman.
Nagaliliko tayo.
Okay, thank you Mr. Chair, no, doon sa forward-looking na pwedeng magawa natin doon sa mga biktima, pamilya ng mga biktima, yung mga immediate na pwedeng maitulong, kagaya na nabanggit na ni Father Noel, no, yung livelihood, scholarship sa mga anak, at saka yung iba pang mga pwedeng maitulong po ng ating Kongreso. So, Mr. Chair, ang question ko kasi for the second round, ano, yung tungkol doon sa tinanong ko kanina kay Dr. Fortune, etong mga ebidensya like yung mga bullet, no, yung slacks ng mga bullet, tiniturn over sa NBI. Tama po ba yun, Director Lavin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. If there is a court order if there are incidents pending before the courts and the court would order the turnover of the evidence to the NBI, then the NBI would be glad to safekeep those pieces of evidence.
Okay. And Mr. Chair, kasi regular man or not regular yung nangyari operations, pero dahil may namatay, Mr. Chair, so dapat lahat maimbestigahan at tama ba na makuha yung mga pieces of evidence po?
Mr. Chair, Your Honors, to answer that, that is an ideal situation, Your Honor.
Oo, kasi Mr. Chair, parang hindi ko matanggap na may namatay dahil regular operation yan ay walang pananagutan yung ating mga pulis na nakapatay, no? Hindi pagpatay agad din yung pwedeng dapat na gawin, no? Like yung i-disable mo yan, no, para maimbestigahan at but anyway, Mr. Chair, ang tanong ko kasi yung tungkol doon sa Bloody Sunday massacre, no, yung Bloody Sunday massacre. So, Mr. Chair, familiar ba ang NBI dito sa mga kaso na ito?
I do not have the records.
Yes. So dahil wala rin naman talaga dito yung DOJ, tama po ba, Mr. Chair? Wala tayong DOJ, no? But anyway, next meeting, iimbitahan natin sila. So, kaugnay po noong Bloody Sunday Massacre, Mr. Chair, may we invite po yung AO35 Special Investigation Team ng Nasugbu, Batangas, kaugnay po dito. Kasi pinag-uusapan natin yung EJK, hindi lang naman po drugs, no, related, kundi yung activist related po. So, Mr. Chair, pwede po ba natin maimbitahan yung Special Investigation Team by AO35 Nasugbu, Batangas, si DCP Dulce Ricafort Folier ng DOJ. I move, Mr. Chair, no, para mas formal, to invite the Special Investigation Team, AO35 ng Nasugbu, Batangas, and under the Department of Justice, si DCP Dulce M. Ricafort Folier, Attorney Julio Cahigan Jr., NBI po ito. Tapos si Wilfredo Umaming, Investigation Agent, Riv Marlo Arturo Gotisan, Investigation Agent, Roger Siblangan Jr., Investigation Agent, and Sulikha Marie Conales, Investigation Agent, at Prosecution Attorney Jumila May Fugaban, Mr. Chair. May I move to
I'm
invite.
sure the committee secretary has taken note of the names of those personalities that Congresswoman Castro would like to invite for the next QUADCOM hearing. So, Comsec, please make sure that they will be given invitations. Thank you, Congresswoman Castro.
Mr. Chair, related din po doon sa tanong ko lang po kung na-imbestigahan din po, na-invite na-invite po yung minotion po ni Representative Arlene Brosas po na dapat na-imbitahan ng mga pulis.
In the last,
Yes.
the last committee hearing of the
Last committee hearing, Mr. Chair.
Yes, I'm sure we've taken note of those names. We've sent out, I think the COMSEC did not send the invitation for today's committee hearing,
Okay.
but maybe in the next.
Okay. So in the next committee hearing, yan, pinaimbitahan naman ang po si Guillermo Eliazar, si Lito Patay, Felipe Natividad, Warren Delim, si Jacinto Malinaw, Armelina Manalo. Ito po yung mga ground commander supervisor po, no? At saka yung ibinigay, marami po ito, bibigay na lang natin, Mr. Chair, sa kasi nasabi naman nato ni Congressman
Meron na pong invitation niya, mga list of those names requested by Congresswoman Brosa. So, siguro sa susunod nating pagdinig ay iimbitahin na po natin sila.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So, are there any other members who wish to... yes, Congressman Dio.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Akala ko nakalimutan na yung chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This will be, I'll be very, very quick. I'd like to ask, because I forgot to ask Colonel Grijaldo regarding the Special Investigation Task Force. Was there a final result of the investigation? The submission of the resolution of the SITG was already submitted to the CITG, Your Honor. So may nahuli na ba, na-identify na ba yung mga assailant, yung nakita sa CCTV? Were they apprehended? Was there any case filed against a particular person? I have no personal knowledge as to the resolution being done by the SITG, Your Honor. That's unusual because you're part of the Special Investigation Task Force, hindi ba? Would you know? Your Honor, I was already relieved from my position as the Chief of Police of Mandaluyong before it was resolved, Your Honor. Yeah, because Mr. Chair, if I can recall the last hearing, there was no individual that was charged in relation to the murder case of General Barayuga. That's so unfortunate because the government invested so much. They even created a special investigative task force to really unearth what caused and what are the culprits and what are the reasons behind this murder. And yet so ironic because walang nakasuhan. Yun lang po. That's just my manifestation, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'd like to invite to the attention of General Wilkins Villanueva. Sir, magandang gabi po, sir. I'd like to take off from the line of questioning of Congressman Keith Flores earlier. I know these questions have been asked and then in the earlier previous hearings that we had, and I believe you have also, in fairness to you, you have also responded quite extensively on some areas concerns by the committee. Just like to zero in on the issue of the Dumoy raid. Vis-a-vis, there's also another raid that happened in Diuba, apart from the Dumoy raid. There's also another area which another raid was also conducted, and there was also the issue on the Arlene apartment. No? So, Mr. Chair, if I may understand it correctly, these are three separate occasions and events, but interlocking altogether. Tama ho ba, General Wilkins?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you very much. Earlier you said, and portion of that you have already answered the question of Congressman Gil, but there seems to be for me, sa akin lang po, in my own understanding, and just like to tighten some loose ends, no? Tighten up some loose ends. So yes, you have already confirmed that there was the Tumloy raid in 2024, that this is a product of a 3-month surveillance. And apart from that, there was also a separate raid, no, in other location within Davao City. Ano po ba yung location na to, Mr. Chairman, General Wilkins?
There was a warehouse, chemical warehouse in Agdao.
Agdao, tama, Agdao. So there's the Dumloy, and there's the Agdao, and there's the Unawan.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Akala ko ba, so 4.3 raid po ito nangyari?
Oh, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, iba pa ho yung sa Arlene Apartments.
Yung Arlene apartment, Mr. Chair, is not a raid, it's a visit.
Okay. So, gusto ko lang pong this was also, the raid was conducted by the same joint operation. Tama po ba?
No, Mr. Chair, on different days, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, but the same operation, same teams involved. Okay. So when you say joint operation, same team, you were talking about your unit, which you represent in this case, sa PIDEA po, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And then with the assistance, of course, of the PNP, local PNP.
Yes,
Tama po ba?
Mr. Chair.
And what other agencies?
EDSOT, Mr. Chair.
EDSOT.
EDSOT. And yung PACER, Mr. Chair, yung Police Police Emergency Response, Your Honor. Ito yung na pumalit sa PAOK TF, Your Honor.
Can you be so kind enough, General Wilkins, as to spell out to us the acronym of EPSOT? Kasi I'm not
PACER,
sure that...
Papa Alpha Charlie Echo.
No, I mean, what does it stand for?
Police Anti-Crime and Emergency Response, Mr. Chair.
But this is still under, unit ba ito under PNP or
Unit yan, sir, that was created to replace the PAOK TF.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So, who heads among these three agencies? What are the coordination in terms of the one on top of everything, no? Monitoring, handling the surveillance, doing all the directives. Which among these agencies would you say that you'll be your
It was me, Mr. Chair.
as in
I had the overall.
Yes. So meaning to say, in terms of the principle of command and responsibility, as well as concept of command and responsibility that applies to you po in this particular surveillance, in this particular raid, tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, kanina po ang sagot niyo po kay Congressman Keith Flores, General, was that you already submitted a surveillance report, tama po ba?
No, Mr. Chair, we submitted the after operation report of the Dumoy laboratory, the conduct of the clandestine laboratory operation at Dumoy. We also submitted a spot report on the raid, on the implementation of search warrant on the warehouse, chemical warehouse at Agdao, Davao City, and also submitted after operation report on the implementation of warrant dun sa Bunawan, Davao City, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so
Everything was submitted to the National Office of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency.
okay, so kanina po in early previous hearings, you mentioned that you have already invested so much on the surveillance, no? Doon po sa Dumoy, no, before you have conducted the raid. In fact, those personalities that you mentioned, Joe Chua, Alan C., you have actually followed these individuals as part of your monitoring surveillance, no? Would you say that the same degree of surveillance was also been made on the three separate locations that you had conducted the raid? Halimbawa, ang Agdao ba yun, sir?
In Agdao, Mr. Chair, kita namin kasi doon na sila kumukuha ng mga crates, wooden boxes, papunta doon sa Dumoy Laboratory, Mr. Chair. So walang tao doon sa Agdao. Doon sa Bunawan, Mr. Chair, is doon naglalagay yung si Alex Kim and si Jong Pilapil naman, Mr. Chair, is one of those in charge dun sa nakikita parate dun sa Bunawan Polytech sa foam factory, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, yung sa surveillance po, how do you prepare the surveillance report? Is it you who signed the surveillance report, or including those other agencies that were involved in the operation?
Every end of the day, Mr. Chair, I collect all the reports. And then, delegate again kung ano yung next na duty ng incoming teams. Ina-analyze kasi namin yan, Mr. Chair, every day. Kung pwedeng tigilan na yung ibang personalities dahil every day, Mr. Chair, dumadami na dumadami yung person of interest. So, every day or twice a week, nag-eliminate kami ng persons of interest so that makatutok talaga kami dun sa talagang nag-manage or operators ng clandestine laboratory, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, to whom did you did you submit the surveillance report again?
Sa akin sila nagsasubmit. However, it was covered by the case operation plan. I submit progress report sa National Office, Mr. Chair, as far as the case operation plan is concerned.
So, if for example, Mr. Chair, we request that the surveillance report that you conducted, that you have prepared, do you think that will be available for this committee to?
Everything was submitted sa National Office, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Which actually prompted the surveillance? What is it, your decision, Mr. Chair, or was it part of the overall decision of all of these tri-agencies involved in the operation? Was it,
Mr. Chair,
yes, thank you. What prompted the surveillance? Is it because you have already a lead that prompted your office to conduct the monitoring and surveillance, including all of these other two agencies?
Mr. Chair, it started October 26, October 26 of 2004, when an information coming from the Intelligence and Investigations Division Service from the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency informed me that there is an impending arrival of a Chinese chemist to Davao City on that particular flight. The information came from our counterpart from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. So on that day, we immediately prepared surveillance team to follow yung sinasabi nilang Chinese chemist na padating sa Davao, and it started from there. Hanggang sa dumating sila doon sa Arlene apartment. Doon pong tumuloy yung dalawang Chinese chemist, according sa information, doon tumuloy, habang sinusunod namin, tumuloy sila sa Arlene apartment, Mr. Chair. So we started the surveillance operation there.
Okay. So just to, in order for this committee to be more appreciative of the timeline, this happened months before the Dumoy raid, or
Months 3 months before the Rumoy raid, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Because it started October 26, 2004.
So the chemist that you were referring to, was it Alan C?
No, Mr. Chair.
Sino po yun?
Hindi namin kilala, Mr. Chair. Walang pangalan, Mr. Chair. Basta, nasundan namin, papunta sa Arlene apartment, and from there, we started the whole coverage of surveillance. Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, wala siya during that time na nang-raid kami, Mr. Chair. Wala yung dalawa doon, Mr. Chair.
But you mentioned in the previous hearings, Mr. Chair, General, that you already had a lead doon po sa case itong certain Alan C, that you have monitored and survey, nagkaroon po kayo ng surveillance. In fact, tinikitan niyo po for past 3 months, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so this was before the arrival of these two Chinese nationals who allegedly are chemists and may involved in drug manufacturing. Meron na po kayong lead with Alan C.
Wala pa, Mr. Chair.
So doon po nag-lead yung two chemist lead
Doon nag-start ang investigation, Mr. Chair.
with Alan C.
Doon sa Arlene apartment,
Okay.
kung saan tumuloy yung mga Chinese, Mr. Chair.
I'd just like to go down to details, no? Pardon me, General Wilkins, kasi gusto ko lang pong, sabi ko nga, maintindihan, may mga medyo gray area pa ako na hindi masyadong magets. And don't hesitate to correct my data, General Mr. Chair. Again, during the raid in Dumoy, 6 Chinese nationals were killed, tama po ba, according to you, no?
6 nationals.
6 Chinese nationals. Just to refresh the memory, no, ng mga members dito, ano po yung manner ng kanilang pagpatay when you entered the premises? Were they armed? Were they in what manner by which the agents at the time had decided to directly fire at these 6 nationals, which resulted to the death of these individuals.
Mr. Chair, we divided our team to sa first floor, second floor, at yung perimeter. Pagpasok namin, Mr. Chair, kita agad namin lulong yung mga incheck na naandun, sir. Lulong sa droga. Kumbaga, talaga nagwawala yung mga, may baril sila. So, doon nagkaputukan, Mr. Chair. Doon sa conduct of clandestine laboratory operation, Mr. Chair, as much as possible, ayaw namin pumutok doon. Kasi, any spark, may hydrogenator kasi doon sa clandestine laboratory, Mr. Chair. And any
Might
spark,
explode yung entire facility.
yes, explode yung entire facility. That's why ang instruction ko, kasi yun yung training namin, coming from the, trained kami ng United States Drug Enforcement Administration. So wag kayong walang puputok doon hanggat maaari. So yun ang instruction. Pagpasok pa lang namin, Mr. Chair, nagwawala na yung mga incheck na nandun. Pumuputok.
Okay. So sinabi niyo po may mga baril sila, which again, let me go back to the surveillance report. Nandun po sa surveillance report na sinayin po niyo kung anong klaseng baril ang mga natagpuan niyo po na dala-dala or nasa side ng mga Chinese nationals, which actually made you decide to engage in firefight against, with this allegedly mga drug. Hindi allegedly kasi sabi mo, nagdodroga sila. Ano po klaseng mga baril ang may hawak nila?
Mr. Chair, during the surveillance operation, wala kami nakikita ang baril. Kasi
I'm sorry, during the spot report. Yes, spot report.
spot report, I cannot remember fully. Basta may nakita kami, may ginamit silang 45 pistol, 1911. May ginamit silang 9mm pistol, 9mm pistol. Hindi hindi ito Mr. Chair, tunay na ito, hindi paltik. Basta I believe parang may 4 na baril na nakuha doon, Mr. Chair. At yung dalawa, Mr. Chair, is unarmed during that time. But I'd like to say na yung isa doon, Mr. Chair, is nakuha natin doon sa pinakadulo, pinakasulok, nagtatago, doon nakipag-agawa ng baril sa member ng ENSOT, Mr. Chair. Kaya nakipagbarilan din yung ENSOT at pinatay din yung isang inject na noon nang-aagaw ng baril doon.
So all of this information were available or
doon sa spot report, Mr. Chair.
Would you know, Mr. Chair, kung saan niyo po na-submit itong
We submitted that to the PDEA National Office.